Out of 10%, I give Dr. Fred Okengo Matiangi 7% during his exclusive interview yesterday with Sam Gituku at Citizen TV. What about you? How can you rate Matiangi's interview? Maybe you can let me know in the comment section down below. I'll go through the comments and reply some of them. The reason as to why I'm giving Matiangi 7% out of 10, it is because Dr. Matiangi owned his mistakes that he committed during Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. Matiangi carried his own cross, alibeba msalaba wake mwenyewe, without blaming anybody, even Uhuru Kenyatta. Matiangi said very well that we are all human beings. Therefore, we are not perfect. Even leaders commit mistakes. Also, during that entire interview, Dr. Fred Matiangi never attacked William Ruto or Raila Amolo Odinga the way Rigathi Gachagua and Martha Karua does. For example, every time Rigathi Gachagua is asked about the political mistakes that he committed when he was in government, Rigathi Gachagua always blames William Ruto. He says, "Oh, I did this because of William Ruto lied to me." But Matiangi never blamed anybody. The difference here is this. Matiangi is a leader, not a politician. That is the difference. However, Sam Gituku is not a joke. For the first time, I saw Dr. Fred Okengo Matiangi sweating during that particular interview. I'll play for you some of the videos so that you can see in this analysis. Matiangi was sweating because Sam Gituku asked Matiangi very tough questions. Questions concerning when Matiangi was the CS during Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. When Matiangi was the CS for Interior, a lot of things happened. There were some killings. Remember Baby Pendo? Remember the Kianjokoma brothers? The River Yala issues? Police brutality? The TV stations were switched off. How Matiangi blocked Raila Odinga and his supporters at the airport. How Matiangi dealt with the demonstrators. Remember that? And also, Dr. Miguna was forced out of the country. He was deported forcefully. And he was blocked. Were it not for William Ruto to get into power, Matiangi currently will still be in Canada. All these things happened when Matiangi was the CS for Interior. But he answered all those questions. They were very tough. Sam Gituku also asked Fred Matiangi about his political association with Wamunyoro. Because in the recent past, Matiangi has been boycotting Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka's political events. Like for example, Matiangi was not in Narok when all the opposition leaders were in Narok for a political rally. Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo, Eugene, Martha Karua. So what is exactly is happening? Is there any political fallout between Matiangi and Rigathi Gachagua? And also, Matiangi was asked about his 2027 presidential plans. What political party is Matiangi going to use? Is it UPA? Is it Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party? What is Matiangi's political agenda for his presidential bid? And also, if Matiangi is Uhuru Kenyatta's project for the 2027 elections. Because Uhuru is sponsoring Matiangi through the Jubilee Party. So the first question here, a very tough question, that Matiangi was asked by Sam Gituku, is about the political party that Matiangi will use to run for presidency in the 2027 elections. Because Matiangi needs a political party. So whether Matiangi is in Jubilee or UPA. And I was shocked that Matiangi does not have or does not know the political party that he will use for his 2027 presidential bid. Matiangi totally refused, totally rejected to be associated with Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party. And remember, Jeremiah Kioni, the Jubilee Party Secretary General, has been very busy campaigning thoroughly for Fred Matiangi in the Jubilee Party. Does this mean that Matiangi betrayed Uhuru Kenyatta? Just listen to what Matiangi said. Watch this video here.
What ticket will you use?
As I said, I'm now in consultations with a number of political parties, a number of political leaders across the board. I honestly think that if I made a choice now and stuck to one political party, I will disadvantage the others with whom we are having a discussion. Definitely, as we go forward, there's not going to be a single political party that will form government. The reality is that, I mean, we chose democracy and we have so many political parties. In Kenya, we have probably over 89 political parties, and that is how Kenyans want to organize their politics for the time being. I would rather have sufficient conversations and discussions with Kenyans across the board before I finally say this is the format in which I would like to present myself to the IEBC.
There has been association of yourself with UPA party. Some have actually owned you in the Jubilee Party. Where do you belong? And
you will hear more parties. In fact, this afternoon I'm meeting another political party that is asking whether we can work together. And I've been asked this, by 7 or 8 political parties. You'll hear this. It is actually, let me tell you the truth, Sam. It is flattering that you have political leaders in so many political parties sitting down in their executive committees and in their groups and saying maybe Fred Matiangi should be our candidate, even before I ask them. And they come over to ask me, can you be our candidate? I don't want to close the door on anyone. I want to have very comprehensive, inclusive, exhaustive discussions with everyone. Then we come together and work on a coalition. In any case, by the way, this game is first of all also persuading people to work together. I mean, we are better off as a country when we work together, when we coalesce our forces, when we coalesce our views and our visions and work together. To split ourselves up in so many groups, it doesn't much help, but it's always a pleasure. And frankly, I thank God that I have all these people in 7, 8, 9 parties asking me, can we work together? Can you be our candidate? And I want to put them all together.
So as you speak right now, are you a member of any political party?
Well, as I said, I will disadvantage others if I joined and signed up with one political party. I'm holding discussions across the board with many.
Dr. Fred, please answer my question. Are you a member of any political party today?
Not yet.
So Matiangi lazima atangaze msimamo. He must associate with a political party for his 2027 presidential bid. Na ajipange mapema. The second very tough question that Matiangi was asked It is about if if Matiangi is Uhuru Kenyatta's project for the 2027 elections. Because Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni said that Uhuru Kenyatta's best choice for the 2027 presidential bid is Matiangi. That is why Uhuru Kenyatta wants Matiangi to use the Jubilee Party in 2027. But Matiangi tried so hard to deny being Uhuru Kenyatta's project. Watch this video here. Just watch. Let's listen how Sam Gituku tackles Matiangi with these tough questions.
And there are those that feel you are an Uhuru Kenyatta project.
Let me ask you, Sam. You are an intelligent person, very well educated and experienced person. What does that actually mean in practical sense? There are many things that are bandied around. When I was younger, a little more impatient, I used to tell people, there are things that people tell you that when you sit back and analyze them, they won't make sense even to a fool. What does that mean to be someone's project? What does that mean? It's an indelible historical fact that Uhuru Kenyatta appointed me to his cabinet, and I served in his cabinet for 10 years in 3 significant portfolios, and gave me additional responsibilities and so on. But by the way, cumulatively for the 10 years Uhuru was president, he appointed close to 30 or so people to his cabinet. Some of them are serving in cabinet to this day. Others have risen to other responsibilities and so on. So am I a project by dint of the fact that I served in Uhuru's cabinet? And if it's a question of service and so on, why are you not asking me if I'm World Bank's project? Because I've just come from the World Bank.
Have you had a conversation with the former president about your interests?
I have not asked him about whether or not I should run, but we discuss Kenyan affairs every time we have an opportunity. Like I discuss with thousands of other Kenyans whenever I have an opportunity.
I asked that question because, like I told you, the Secretary General of Jubilee Party has claimed you previously a couple of months ago, and we know there are several people that are working with you that also worked with Uhuru Kenyatta.
But Sam, yourself said a while ago that UPA has claimed me. There are several parties that are going to claim me. In an official of a party expressing themselves to say, we would like so-and-so to be our candidate, that is fine. As I told you, frankly, I am fairly flattered. I'm probably the only person in recent times so many parties are claiming, which is a good thing.
Even knowing that a Secretary General communicates about the position of a political party.
But those others who are claiming me are also Secretaries General of other parties.
So let me ask you, do you think that Matiangi is Uhuru Kenyatta's project for the 2027 presidential bid? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that question is about Rigathi Gachagua and Wamunyoro's political agenda. Because Wamunyoro has been saying Ruto must go. Then what next? What is the plan of the opposition after removing William Ruto from power? I was shocked that Matiangi said that Wamunyoro does not have a political agenda after removing William Ruto. That is why he said that he has his own political agenda. But the opposition does not have an agenda. Yet Rigathi Gachagua has been saying that mambo ya payslip will restore payslip, mambo ya education, mambo ya housing, the house levy, he will remove all those issues. So you can see the political difference between Matiangi and Rigathi Gachagua. Right? Just watch this video here also. Listen very keenly to what Matiangi is saying.
By the way, what are you doing within the opposition coalition? What's the agenda there?
Ask me about what I am doing myself as Fred, because we have just begun meetings. And first of all, the first thing is to agree on a platform, discuss and agree on a platform what we need to do. People have walked in from various walks of life. various experiences and various aspirations. Some of them are forming political parties now. You are aware that Honorable Gachagua is planning to launch a political party. This is a process or an activity that's information that is going on right now. So it's difficult to start making conclusive and firm positions on something that is ongoing. It's beginning at the moment. Elections are 25 months away from now, and even the official campaign period has not begun. This is a moment of establishment, engagement, discussion, exchanging views, trying to understand each other and build a relationship. Because you see, we are going to have to build a team, and this is not easy. This process is beginning. It's going on at the very formative level right now. So it isn't the time to start saying, this is what we are doing. What we are doing now is building relations, building an institution, getting to understand each other, sharing ideas on what needs to be done. And it takes time. It's not easy.
No, I get that, yeah. Dr. Fred.
So if the opposition does not have a political agenda after removing William Ruto from power, then it means that we are entering into a very big trouble as Kenyans if William Ruto is removed from power by these opposition leaders. Because remember that monkeys are the same. Only the forest is different. These people here were actually leaders at some point. What exactly did they do? Matiangi was in government in Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. Kalonzo Musyoka was once a leader. Eugene Wamalwa was once a cabinet secretary. Martha Karua also was once a leader. Rigathi Gachagua was in government just the other day. What exactly did these leaders do? Did they bring any difference? If they did not bring any difference, how can you trust them that they will bring difference, any difference from William Ruto and this government? So bado mambo iko mingi. And finally, Matiangi was asked about police brutality, police killings, when he was the CS for Interior. Matiangi said that he needs to be inquired concerning those issues. Mambo ya River Yala and all those issues. And he said something very interesting. He said, and let me know if you agree with Matiangi here. Matiangi said that blaming an Interior Cabinet Secretary for the police killings is like blaming the CS for transport concerning the accidents that occurs daily, the road accidents. Do you agree with Matiangi on that issue? Just watch this video here.
Now, let's talk about integrity and the questions of the rule of law. Just before he left office, there were reports about people that were being killed and dumped at River Yala. The count, according to the International Justice Mission, is at 36. No justice has been served on those persons. What do you know about River Yala killings?
Thanks for asking me that question, because this is the first time ever I'm having a public opportunity to answer that question directly. Because I've been seeing every time people say I'm going to go into public life, people start playing a song with two stanzas, River Yala, Warakaland, and so on, and you see it repeated over and over again. I've never had an opportunity myself to publicly look the cameras in the face and say this is what it is and so on. When in 2021, the issue of a report was published by a local media about bodies being pulled out of River Yala, just like I saw last week and the week before. For us, we asked the Inspector General of Police, Mutiambai, what was happening at that time. We agreed that the gravity of the situation is such that the DCI himself should go to that place and find out what's happening. The DCI spent some time there with a team from the DCI. When they came back, we asked for an inquest. We demanded an inquest. At the National Security Council, we asked for an inquest. Can we go into this matter and find out what's happening? The DCI and the police told us, fortunately for us, their bodies. Let us get the families to claim the bodies, then we build the stories from there. We open the file, we take statements from the families so that we understand the circumstances under which these people disappeared and the circumstances under which their bodies were found in Yala. By the time we were leaving government, the file was open. It was not closed at that particular time because investigations were going on. And that's why I keep saying every time, what happened with the file? I didn't live with the file. In any case, I would have nothing to do with the file as a cabinet minister. That was a police matter. And you know, our detractors or people who like to make negative claims about this are always, you know, they choose when it is convenient for them to say these things. The police service is independent. When they are doing certain things, it's dependent on the minister at other times. As a minister, I would have nothing with that investigation. I wouldn't even influence it for any particular purposes, as it were. The file was open. We didn't live with the file when we left government. So why don't we close the file and let us take action in the direction in which the investigations are pointing us? Besides, by the way, the best way to deal with this matter, in my view, is to have a public inquest so that all of us role players who were in the security sector at that point in time, we go face the inquest, and I'm ready to go before a magistrate or a judge, whoever it is going to preside over that inquest, and say what I know about it. But you see, the problem is throwing stones of convenience or political opportunity when the time is ripe. You know, say every time they say, oh, Yala, and so on and so forth. If I was responsible for a crime that was committed by a police officer when I was Minister for Interior, then I'm responsible for all road accidents that took place, you know, when I was Minister for Interior. I'm responsible for all the violence, robbery with violence cases. I'm responsible for all rape cases that happened and so on and so forth. It's just not possible, as it were. And even as we are seated here, there could be crimes that are being committed somewhere. Mm-hmm. We are not saying the minister is in charge. When the bodies were traced out there last week, I didn't hear anybody saying Kipchumba Murkomen is dumping bodies at Yala and so on. So the question is, things need to be addressed and dealt with in their proper context. The challenge is that we have very low level of political accountability in our country, where, you know, people say just about anything they want to say and get away with it. Right. And when they have no evidence and so on, let's have a public inquest.
So after watching all this, I mean, how Matiangi answered those questions, it is now your perfect time to rate Matiangi's interview. What can you say? What advice can you give to Matiangi? I want to know your opinion in the comment section down below. But please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more political updates like this one. Remember, my name is Jason. See you in my next video analysis. I'm out.